Maintenant, pour un jeu qui sort demain et qu'on se pose beaucoup de questionnements, à savoir, is it worth the Switch 2 upgrade? Mario Brothers Wonder plus Meetup in Bellabel Park sort demain sur Switch 2. Les critiques ont été publiées ce matin. A une moyenne sur Metacritic de 86. Si on compare avec la sortie originale de Mario Wonder OG qui est sortie en 2023 sur Nintendo Switch, 92. Fait que on voit que c'est un peu inférieur. Mais là, c'est à se demander, est-ce que ça vaut l'upgrade? Si t'as déjà Mario Brothers Wonder et que tu as déjà joué sur Switch 1 et que là t'as fait l'upgrade pour la Switch 2, est-ce que l'édition, les rehaussements Switch 2 plus le contenu additionnel de Meetup in Bellabel Park vaut le 30$ canadiens demandé? Me semble que c'est 30$, right? Encore là, je vais aller valider. Mario Wonder, Switch 2, upgrade. Upgrade pack, je l'ai à l'instant. There we go. C'est 29,99$ canadien. Fait que $20 US. Fait que yeah, is it worth it? On va tenter de répondre à ce questionnement à l'instant en faisant un petit review roundup. Si ce n'est pas concluant, je vous invite à être des nôtres demain après la Victimite où est-ce qu'on va essayer justement le tout. J'ai mentionné hier, moi j'ai très hâte d'essayer Mario Wonder en 4K sur la OLED. Ça risque d'être so crisp. Mais en attendant, faisons un tour d'horizon des impressions pour Mario Wonder on the Switch 2. J'ai deux reviews plus négatifs ou plus critiques. Puis après ça, on va balancer le tout avec une vidéo review positive venant de IGN. Fait que, encore là, on commence avec VGC et Andy Robinson qui dit at an $80 new purchase or $20 upgrade, however, it's very difficult to recommend Super Mario Bros. Wonder Switch 2 Edition over the excellent Switch 1 version. Encore là, moi ce qui m'intéresse, c'est pas Mario Bros. Wonder, le package overall, est-ce que c'est bon ou pas? On le sait déjà, it's pretty fucking good comme Mario game, hein? Sorti là 2 ans et demi. You can already play it. Comme je pense qu'on n'a pas besoin de savoir ça. C'est justement, est-ce que le Switch 2 upgrade et le contenu additionnel en vaut la peine? Fait que je suis pas ici pour re-review Mario Wonder. Hein? J'ai même une vidéo YouTube dédiée à ça si jamais vous voulez avoir mes opinions face à Mario Wonder. It's great, not the best 2D Mario game. Especially for experienced players who, in all likelihood, will get less than an afternoon's entertainment from it. Fait que moins d'un après-midi de fun avec l'édition Switch 2. Fait que à vous de décider, est-ce que 30$ pour un après-midi de fun en vaut la peine? You decide, c'est votre argent. With a few standout multiplayer challenges and little compelling solo content, Bellabel Park feels overpriced and inessential next to the excellent original Switch 1 game. Ça, c'était mon inquiétude parce que en voyant les derniers trailers, il semblait pas avoir une emphase ben sur le contenu solo. Puis man, tu me dis, ouais, on sort une expansion de Mario Wonder, on te donne d'autres levels, genre d'autres worlds single player, tout le kit là, I'm fucking in. Genre, parce que les niveaux de Mario Wonder c'était great. C'est un des jeux les plus créatifs en ce qui concerne Nintendo, ou la recette de 2D Mario depuis a long fucking time. Là. On a épuisé le look et le concept de l'ère New Super Mario Brothers. Puis là, d'avoir un nouveau art style, une nouvelle direction, des nouveaux costumes, tout le kit, pardon. C'était un vent de fraîcheur. Mais là, le solo offering, de ce que je lis, semble très décevant. Là, il n'y a pas de score pour la critique de VGC. Je l'ai pas trouvé. Mais on peut en déduire que c'est pas ultra positif avec ce qui a été mis de l'avant. Cette fois-ci, une critique avec un score de Nintendo Life. 6 sur 10 venant de Jim Norman qui dit Mario Bros. Wonder Switch 2 Edition plus Meetup in Bellabel Park is a mixed bag. On one hand, we have an opportunity to replay Mario's best 2D adventure in years with some minuscule single-player adjustments and extra boss fights. Remains a joy from start to finish. On the other hand, we have all new multiplayer content, which are perfectly fine on their own, but feel out of place sandwiched between the base game's platforming and the Mario Party vibes they're clearly aiming for. Je comprends pas pour vrai. Je comprends pas cette initiative-là de genre Mario Party-fy Mario Wonder. If you've never played Wonder before, or if you've been itching for a replay, this is a great excuse, but don't expect to be slotting any of the multiplayer extras into your game night rotation. Rosalina aside, the additions here are inoffensive but underwhelming. If you got your fill of Mario Wonder on Switch 1, you're not missing out, or you're not missing much sitting out this particular Switch 2 edition. Fait que vous voyez, deux takes comme plutôt négatifs, mais là on embarque avec la critique de IGN faite par Logan Plant qui est davantage positive. Il me semble dans l'article que j'ai lu, il disait que c'était comme un gold standard pour les Switch 2 Editions. Fait que écoutons ce qu'il a à dire de son côté.
Super Mario Bros. Wonder Nintendo Switch 2 Edition plus Meetup in Bellabel Park is a word jumble that doesn't clearly describe what this re-release actually is. Mario Wonder version 2.0. It's everything a deluxe version should be, offering elegant solutions that fix the original's biggest pain points, a challenging lineup of missions and boss battles that are meaningfully different than the base game, and a mountain of cooperative and competitive minigames that recontextualize Wonder's brilliant platforming in clever ways. All while improved graphics and performance make its gorgeous art style pop even more than before. Whether you're returning to the Flower Kingdom or visiting for the first time, this edition makes Wonder even more of a must-have.
Tabarnak de calice!
Attention, s'il vous plaît, votre attention.
Before we go any further,
à des tests incendies. Nous allons procéder dans les appartements. Veuillez ne pas évacuer. Nous allons procéder à des tests incendies.
Qu'est-ce qui se passe?
We're making a fire inspection. We're making bells ring.
Everyone calm down! Everyone calm down!
Just rest in your apartment. I repeat, we're making fire inspection. Don't leave the house. Thank you.
Monsieur! Monsieur, êtes-vous conscient? Oh my god. Oh my god, very English, very bilingual. Hey, j'avais oublié, j'ai lu le courriel sur ça matin, je voulais vous le mentionner. Hey, ça m'a fait jump là, holy shit. Mais c'est comme le dernier des tests. Tu sais, la semaine passée, je vous disais qu'il y avait les tests de système. Le système d'incendie, but there you go. C'est le last part. Faut qu'ils testent tous les étages un par un là. Aïe aïe man. Un nouveau programme de la fleur ça. Pour vrai j'ai rien compris là. God damn. Alright. Poursuivons.
let me lay out exactly what I'm reviewing here. Since the new stuff in Wonder's Nintendo Switch 2 Edition is available either as a $20 upgrade pack for existing owners, or as part of the full $80 Switch 2 package, that's the only content I'm discussing and scoring here. Here's what we said about the base game back in 2023.
Ok, fait que c'est un review sur
Other than
le...
advanced challenges, Wonder feels like a 21st century successor to Super Mario World, and I'm not sure I can give it a higher compliment than that.
3 years later, Wonder remains an absolute joy to play. Mario has never looked or felt better to control in 2 dimensions, and its incredible foundation means that any new content you stack on top is elevated by the already excellent controls and enchanting art design. Bellabel Park starts by introducing the new Koopaling boss battles, which are a huge highlight. It feels like Nintendo heard the widespread complaints about Wonder's repetitive, overly simplistic Bowser Jr. fights and decided to go harder than ever before. I think this is the best lineup of bosses in any 2D Mario game. Each of the 7 Koopalings has been gifted Wonder Power from Bowser, leading to epic battles that are significantly more creative than the traditional jump on their head 3 times setup. Wendy gets transformed into a large Cheep Cheep and summons dozens of enemies through portals, while Morton turns into an enormous puppet and attacks you from the level's background. These fights felt like a chance to show off my skills in a way the main game never reached, and that extends to badge selection too. It was actually helpful to consider which ability I should bring into the fight, like equipping the crouching high jump to reach Morton's ropes faster. Later, you'll unlock even tougher versions of each Koopaling battle. I can't even remember
Ah
the
ouais,
last time a 2D
j'adore
Mario
ça.
boss took me multiple tries.
Parce que c'est
but some of
simple,
these
pas
ones
besoin de te
did.
casser la tête. Ah, ça c'est pas du rocket science.
These harder fights are found at the Toad Brigade training camp, which has more than 70 bite-sized challenges to tackle either on your own or with friends. Some ask you to collect coins or defeat enemies
Ah, c'est
before
bien
time
cool cette
runs out,
habilité-là.
while my favorites force you to clear a course without touching any enemies, sometimes requiring you to do so with a specific badge equipped. Most of the missions are still relatively easy, but the final third or so you unlock are tougher than pretty much anything in Base Wonder, which was a very welcome challenge.
Nice.
I love how these courses reuse levels, power-ups, badges, and enemies in brand new ways. It was genuinely tense to use my parachute cap to barely glide around an endless horde of floating blooms. And I let out a huge sigh of relief after finally clearing a stage where I needed to bounce off these shells spaced out in the lava to beat the timer.
Okay, this is for your boy, là. This is the type of shit I
There's also
live
an
for,
entirely new
chat.
power-up, Flower Mario, which comes with a Yoshi-like flutter and a projectile that Mario launches straight upwards. Eliminating enemies from below is a game changer, and several trials make use of this great ability, which fits perfectly alongside the classics. This is exactly what I want out of endgame Mario, stages that forgo exploration and spectacle in favor of white-knuckle platforming that demands expert timing and precision.
Yeah, j'aime ça, j'aime ça.
My only complaint here is that I could have gone for 100 more. It took me about 6 hours to 100% the training camp, and I still feel like there's plenty of room to experiment with levels that
6
force me
hours
to
pour
use a
vrai.
specific badge,
J'aurais
or
attendu
challenge me to
genre
figure out the best
une
one for a
heure.
given situation.
Tout
Bellabel Park
finir.
introduces new dual badges that combine 2 abilities, but there were only a small handful of missions that actually made me use them. Like this one where I was both invisible and unable to stop jumping. There's so much untapped potential, and it's a shame that this DLC introduces
Après,
even more badges,
3D
but
Mario
still falls into
temporel,
the same trap
s'il vous
Wonder
plaît.
did by failing to get the most possible out of them.
Parks and
With that
Recs.
said, there's no shortage of fun stuff to do, especially when you get a few friends together. Attraction Central houses tons of local and online multiplayer modes, and there are several clever platforming ideas crammed into this party game wrapper. I was most impressed with the local co-op minigames, which take place in familiar levels but completely change your objective, most of which lead to great opportunities for communication and teamwork.
Stop! Pour les audio listeners, ne vous inquiétez pas, tout est sous contrôle. Ça a duré combien de temps, cette histoire-là? Ça bat la tondeuse, ça. Hey man, ça te fait sursauter sur un instant, là. Et même la lumière qui flash dans le salon. Faut qu'ils viennent dans ton appart? Non. Ils l'ont déjà fait. C'est tout? C'est fini? Jesus Christ. Peux-tu ne plus faire de crise de cœur? Hey! Y'a personne d'autre ici, là. Personne d'autre pour faire la RCR. Si je fais une crise de cœur, le Twitch chat peut pas me faire de RCR, là. Vous pouvez appeler le 911. Mais personne pour venir me sauver, là. Plus de chances de mourir que de me faire réanimer. God damn. Merci, service incendie de la ville de Laval, pour ce moment peu dérangeant. Back to the video.
One highlight is jump count, where your group is given a total number of jumps to hit by the end of the level, but your count is hidden, meaning everyone has to keep track of their own while trying to jump as little as possible to make sure you don't
Dites-vous, c'est déjà arrivé
collectively
ça à 3h du matin,
I
hein?
also love Donut Block Maker,
Genre,
where some
un
teammates
mois
make
après que j'ai
temporary
déménagé.
platforms for the rest of the team
Très
to
le fun.
move across, which led to lots of hilarious deaths and last-second saves.
C'est pas comme l'alerte
Each
Amber,
minigame
ça,
has
là.
a surprising amount of compatible levels too.
Anyway, l'alerte Amber, je l'ai même pas entendu parce que j'avais mes bouchons.
Divided across 3
Puis mon
difficulty
sel
levels.
était sur Do
There
Not
are no
Disturb.
new locations in
Big
Bellabel
brain,
Park,
please.
but I love how much mileage Nintendo gets out of its pre-existing toy box just by turning the rules on their head. Without question, my favorite co-op game is Fly Free Captain Toad. The captain famously can't jump, so he holds his bird friend Plucky above his head to jump for him. In practice, this means one player moves left and right as Toad, while the other controls the jumping, turning simple levels into terrifying gauntlets that test your communication. It's like an official version of IGN's Linked Together series from back in the day.
There you go. Whoa!
Oh!
Why did you do that twice,
You
dude?
jumped! I am not the jump!
The competitive minigames don't fare quite as well, sadly. They're mostly basic battle games you'd see in something like Mario Party, where you try to collect the most coins or outlast your opponents in a survival gauntlet. They aren't bad, just not nearly as inspired as the cooperative games. The best one is Phanto Tag, a game of hide and seek where you can disguise yourself as everyday Mario objects while the seekers use clues to find the fakers. It led to fun strategizing about where to blend into the background, but besides that one, I could feel my group starting to get restless as we worked our way through all of the fairly shallow attractions. The same can be said of the online multiplayer modes, which are mostly made up of races on vehicles like propeller flowers or roller skates. Racing 11 ghosts you can't interact with in what essentially ends up feeling like a time trial doesn't stay fresh for very long. Online play is very limited. You can only try these attractions with friends, and only one person per console can join, so it just doesn't feel worth it. That's it for the major content additions, but I have to tell you about some awesome changes to the main campaign that may seem minor at first, but actually make a huge difference. There are key upgrades that remove the local multiplayer friction that could previously keep a group from enjoying Wonder to the fullest. First, you can now zoom the camera out in local multiplayer for a much wider shot in most levels. At times, Wonder's handcrafted challenges feel designed for solo play, and things can get overly chaotic with 4 elephants on screen. Zooming out makes an instant difference, with the added breathing room giving beginners a better chance to keep up, and providing a cleaner look for everyone to decipher the level ahead. And that's not all. I'm staging some of the scenes you're about to see by using 2 controllers by myself, Sakurai style, just to make it very clear what's happening. These types of moments happen all the time in normal co-op play. In the original, the camera would constantly center on different players depending on factors like who died last. This often led to scenarios where a less experienced person was in control of the pace for the entire party, which wasn't ideal. Now, you can set the camera to always focus on player 1 when they're alive, which is a far more natural choice, especially for parents playing with younger gamers. Previously, when someone got cut off the screen and fell behind, they'd turn into a ghost that someone else would have to go out of their way to revive. In this edition, you can choose to have off-screen characters instantly warp back to player 1 and seamlessly keep playing. These new options feel essential. Wonder also looks and runs even better on Nintendo's more powerful hardware. It stays at a locked 60 FPS, even in moments that used to cause frame rate trouble, like this underwater boss fight, which is now flawless on Switch 2. The 4K resolution while docked is also a noticeable improvement. Wonder always looked awesome, but the Flower Kingdom's vibrant areas and Mario's delightful expressions draw me in even more than they used to. The campaign throws in a few fun Easter eggs to find too, which just makes it even more delightful to revisit.
This is an OLED gaming game, chat.
Super Mario Bros. Wonder's Switch 2 edition should be the blueprint moving forward for these enhanced re-releases. It sands off the rough edges of the original version while adding a fantastic lineup of boss battles, endgame challenges, and cooperative levels that each make use of Wonder's excellent platforming in entirely different ways. The local and online competitive minigames are pretty bland, and I wish it had gone just a bit further in getting the most out of its exciting new dual badge idea. But the rest of this expansion is so inspired that it more than makes up for any shortcomings. Whether you're planning to revisit Super Mario Bros. Wonder or pick it up for the first time, this is clearly the definitive way to play. For more from Mario and Friends on Switch 2, check out my reviews of Mario Tennis Fever or the far messier Switch 2 edition of Super Mario Party Jamboree. And check out Nintendo Voice Chat, the weekly Nintendo...
Ok, we get it. Fait que c'est ça. Très positif du côté de Logan Plant et IGN. Mais c'est ça. Je pense que c'est vraiment une question de est-ce que pour vous, 30$ c'est trop pour l'offre de contenu. Comme j'ai dit, tomorrow, soyez là. On va encore plus répondre à ce questionnement ensemble suite à la Victime Minute. Fait que soyez des nôtres. Of all games out there, est obligé de couper des postes, mettre du monde à pied parce que ça génère pas assez de cash, parce que l'engagement au sein des joueurs n'est pas à son plus haut niveau, et aussi que